I think the Commonwealth of 53 Nations has amazing wisdom keepers in it. I've met many of them. Hats off, really. Let's get the Commonwealth Interfaith Forum really working and sharing and, making music. We can work with the Multifaith and Multicultural Mediation Service, which I set up around about that time, actually, 95-6, which still is the only mediation service dealing with religious and ideological and intellectual conflict. So applying all these insights I've been sharing today about identity wars, well, that agency can help by actually mediating these conflicts. I wish it had more staff, funding, logistics. I mean, I wrote to Putin and Zelensky offering a mediation to deal with this aspect, the identity conflict. And of course, they don't reply. I mean, if we had people that could actually go and knock on the door and explain what we're doing, maybe they'd listen then. We can work through the Institute of Peace Studies and Global Philosophy, which I set up the first thing back in '91 at the University of London, which still is there to promote peace studies in different universities. We can get universities all to have a peace studies department. Where's the one in Moscow? Why isn't it talking to the one in Kyiv? Why isn't there still a Department of Peace Studies at the University of London? Why aren't I the professor there? These are very strange mysteries, I have to say. And we should have them. We need a Department of Peace Studies in every university. And they should all be working together. And really, we also want peace studies departments that do exist, conflict research centres and so on, to look at this issue of identity conflict and hopefully take on board some of the insights I've been sharing today. We want to update philosophy courses in universities around the world, even when it is taught, because it's still being taught, I think, in a pre-scientific way. I mean, it's not, the periodic table of the world's philosophy and religious traditions should be on the wall of every philosophy department in every university in the world. And gosh, that would just be the basic beginning point for getting a more sophisticated educational approach to the history of philosophy, so that it's a more global approach, so that every university teaches all of the boxes. Obviously it was specialised in some, but students now, I think, in this world can't afford to just be taught one or two boxes. We have to give them access to the whole. And that's what surely philosophy is about. And we also therefore need work on what I've called epistemological conflict resolution. I know the answers are there, they need delivering, and this is down to the teachers of the world. If you're a teacher out there listening to this talk, in whatever form, you're working in a school or an academy or in a university, please get the periodic table of religious and philosophical traditions on the wall of your teaching room, your seminar room. Tell the students about it, get them to look at it and realise what's there. And, explain, based on this talk, that these conflicts are solvable. This should be at the University of Moscow, the University of Kyiv, the philosophy departments of St. Petersburg and so on. I'd be happy to come and lecture with you, and explain to you why in Russian philosophy and Ukrainian and Chinese, Beijing, again, where the World Congress of Philosophy took place just recently. The teachers of the world, the academics, should be sharing this good news and revisiting all the great traditions of thought, including the Marxist laws of dialectic and tracing their Hegelian roots. This is fun stuff. It's much more exciting than dropping bombs and killing each other. And finally, we should get the interfaith peace treaties signed and affirmed more widely. That's another way of delivering what I'm talking about, which is kind of complex, right? But actually it's quite simple. Once you get it, it's like a great painter. It looks really complex, but once it's done, it's simple, it's beautiful, it's, a masterpiece. That's what each of us should be doing, because we have that complexity within us, but the simplicity is our capacity for love and our resonance with unity and with peace. Peace is that moment of coming together, of enlightenment, mutual co-enlightenment, like lovers know. We should all have access to that. That's our birthright as human beings, not to be bombed, tortured, killed, defamed, insulted, but to be loved and honoured and respected and appreciated, because all of us, as Plato said, are having a hard battle down here, and let's help each other. Right, so anyway, if any of this resonates with you, feel free to get in touch, help the work, join the networks I'm running, and may your life and days be filled with purpose and insight. And together we can crack this identity turbulence that's going on, because it really is a bit like a sort of crazy kindergarten with all the kids running around screaming. Let's just calm them down, let the teachers of the world step forth, and let's get the show on the road back to the Enlightenment project. Okay.